Hey, welcome everyone. We are joined today by State Representative Cesar Blanco of El Paso. State Representative, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Look, I first wanted to just see how you're holding up, how the community's holding up in the wake of the events last weekend.
Well, as you know, we experienced this horrific tragedy in our community, specifically in my state house district, where we've lost 22 lives and an additional 20 are recovering. Some are still fighting for their lives in critical care, and it's just sent a shockwave throughout our community, and we're dealing with it with as best as we can. And I think that in the face of the worst, El Paso has demonstrated its best. And right now we are still grieving, we're mourning, but we are united and making sure that this incident does not define us as a community.
What is helping you and others get through this? Is it? I know your community was already tight knit, but I'm sure that that's helpful.
It is. You know, as I go through um, various meetings and throughout the day on this issue, meeting with first responders, meeting with families. I was in the hospitals yesterday, meeting with some of the victims that are recovering, and it's just the way we get through this is to talk about it, to share our experiences, quite frankly, to share our emotions. Many of us uh, tried to remain strong. Many of them tried to remain strong, but it's important to talk about it, and we have been. I am amazed at the strength of a lot of the survivors who plan to move forward, who have strength, and I think that's reminiscent of what El Paso is like. Our community. We are strong people. We are resilient people, and we will get through this. So a lot of communications and a lot of sharing of emotions.
Some of your Democratic colleagues have feel strongly about looking at additional gun violence protections, gun safety measures, and have called for a special session of the legislature. Where are you on that question?
Well, as someone who has filed gun reform legislation myself, I filed the bump stock ban in the Texas legislature. I've filed measures to have a more accountability for school marshals on campuses. I have uh, our delegation has filed legislations on red flag laws and such. We are a delegation here in El Paso that believes that there needs to be reform and changes. It's important that we get this right. If we go straight into a session without information, without any kind of data, without any kind of the voices of the victims and the first responders, we're afraid that we're going to go into a special session that would just be highly partisan. We want to make sure that this is done right, and it's important that we take this process to making sure that we have all the tools and the information that we need to make good public policy to ensure that this doesn't happen again.
Can't thank you enough for joining us on this at this difficult time, and hope you can come back soon.
I'm happy to come back and thank you for amplifying this tragedy. We know that a lot of the news cycles are moving on to other things. I'm going to my second funeral here shortly, and we just can't let this pass. This type of senseless violence because of guns and because of hate. We must act, and we must not forget. And I will be sure, as an elected official, to make sure that we continue to to be held accountable, and for us to making sure that we're there for the families and do what's right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.